All right, so now we're going to have some fun with the numbers 4, 5, 6, and then 7. So, but here's the thing, right? Just so you can understand the wonders of what's going on here. All right, so each of these fields on the left-hand side would be for one instance of an actual invoice, right? So pretty well, as soon as you click on calculate, all this information can really be within the scope of the calculate event, right? This stuff here is that. It basically, it's going to have to remember the number of invoices after you finish the calculated event. In fact, what's probably going to happen is that we'll be incrementing this number every single time we click on the calculate. That means this variable, the variable that's not so much a text box, but the variable that is going to be put into the text box, that memory has to be persistent, right? So what's going to happen here is that we're going to start creating something which, and I think they even said it here, right? Class variables. These variables exist outside of the actual event. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go exit. All right. We're going to say goodbye to the toolbar for a while. So I'll see you later, toolbar. And now it's going to basically say, write 3 class variables as shown in whatever figure, but it's saying, you know, like, don't cheat. We're going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to basically double click on this. Now notice that brought me into the button click, but there's a whole section outside here. That's interesting, by the way. Firm invoice total. Huh. Well, okay. I am not sure I like that, but I'm going to leave it for now. Anyway, so I'm going to start putting some variables right up here. And so let's just do this, hit the enter button. And these variables are going to exist. One is going to track the, let's back here. One is going to track the number of invoices. One is going to do the total invoices. One is going to do the invoice average. All right, so when it comes to number of invoices, those are going to be integers, so I can get away with just going int. So it's going to be an integer, and I'm just going to say number of invoices. Oh, we're going to go of invoices. Now, what I'm noticing when I'm looking at the book solution is that they are not, I don't believe, using their own standards for this. Oh, wait a minute, these are for controls. Yeah, those are for controls. Okay, that's fine. That's fair. Okay, so number of invoices. At this point, it's just grabbing a piece of memory and saying it's an integer. We're going to assign it 0. So when this whole application starts, actually, realistically, to be even more accurate, when the form is loaded, when the form is loaded, that's when that's going to show up. All right. So next guy is going to be. Yeah, I'm being thrown off a little bit there with this, but that I'll just keep going and assume that everything's fine. I'm going to go decimal, and this is going to be the total of invoices, right? Which is going to be assigned, and it's going to be 0M, and then the other guy is going to be decimal, and this is going to be invoice average, which is also going to be 0M. Now, because I have I'm having a crisis of faith, I'm going to build it right now and see whether this thing builds properly. And I can't help but notice what's it saying here? Yeah, it's basically saying, hey, dude, you created stuff, but it's not being used. But other than that, it built just fine, and I suspect it would run just fine too. All right, good deal. So now it's time to use it. So I would think every time someone clicks calculate, what I would probably want to do is I would probably increment the number of invoices. That's probably what I'd want to do. So so let's do that. So I think, where would I want to do that? I'm thinking, you know what? If you made it this far, we now actually do have an invoice. So I'm going to say at this point, the number of invoices is incremented. And of course, we're going to use the fancy C# way to do that, right? And so we're doing good there. Again, it should build without a problem. Well, we'll know there's no syntax error, so it'll build without a problem. So now the question is, how do you get number of invoices back actually into the text? Well, we can kind of see what's happening in 33 to 35. So let's put it back in the text. So we had a text box. It was total. That's total invoices. Yeah, I get no invoices. No invoices. That's the object. The text is assigned, and I think we can just at this point just use a default toString. I was tempted to parse, but why? Let's use that. So what was this guy? This guy was number of invoices dot toString, and just close it, semicolon. Why are you mad? You're not mad. You're mad because of whatever's going on there. I think I got something on my glasses is what's going on here, because it's hard to read. All right, let's go ahead, go start. Ooh, I should have built first, but anyway. So we're gonna go 1,000, and I'm gonna go calculate. There's one. Calculate again, 2. So look at that. It's working like a champ. My incrementer is just fine. Couple things I'd be tempted to do with this, by the way, is to right justify the text field so this thing shows up at the end. In fact, all of these probably should be right justified. But anyway, well, that's for another time. All right, good. So now the next thing is that we need to have totals and then averages. All right. So in my case, what I'm thinking of doing here is, this is what I would do. So we want to have this thing called total number. So now a total of invoices. The total of invoices is going to be this invoice total incremented, right? So we can go ahead and do this by saying the total. Lowercase. Oh, dude. Of course, it had it anyway. Total of invoices is plus equals. That's using our fancy operator again, and this is going to be the invoice total. All right, and let's just assume that we're going to want that in here again. So we're going to go text invoice total invoices. Yeah, total invoices dot text is assigned, and then it's going to be the guy right I just did there, total of invoices dot toString. And totally revisiting that in a second, but whatever. So I'm going to go run. Again, it compiled cleanly, so I'm not going to necessarily build it. I'm just going to run it, and I'm going to go $100, $1,000, $10,000, and it looks like that number is just, look at that. Okay, that's awesome. All right, so we got that. That seems to be working just great. But you know what? We are going to use that C because that's just gross. Okay, so let's do that. Let's go that, and again, $100. Yeah, $1,000. Yeah, we're done. That was a really big number. Okay, good deal. You know, I just did that there, so allow me a little bit of hubris and put the C in there because I think the C should be there. And I think the same deal with this guy. Currency should look like currency, and I may even take a few moments to right justify. But next thing is the average. The average is going to be a pretty easy calculation. It's going to be the invoice average. Notice, by the way, it's got a little squiggle here. It's again telling me at this point that no one's using it. Well, that's going to go away once I've done this. Invoice average is assigned, and it's going to be basically the total of averages, the total invoices, I should say, total invoices divided by the number of invoices. All right, copy and paste, and let's go semicolon. We're going to do something else different here too, but let's see, did that work? It did work. All right, we're going to go. I guess it's taking a while to come up with a, okay, so here's, I'm going to be a little bit smarter with this one. I'm going to go 500 and they're going to hit 500 again. Awesome. Of course, it's not making it back out to the screen, so I guess I didn't really do a good job testing my new dude. Let's go down here and do our text dot come on, text dot in average. You got to imagine, by the way, you got to pay attention to the names that you give your objects, because as your applications become tougher and tougher, it's easy to lose track of where they are, so, or what they are. But anyway, invoice average, and we're going to use the toString method, and I'm going to basically make it a C, and I'm going to put a semicolon at the end of that. All right, let's go and go, and we're going to go 500, and then if I go 500 again. Yeah, it makes sense. Now, if I'm going to go and say, hey, how about $1,000 or whatever that is? Boom. All right. So I'm liking it. Sure, that looks great. That looks wonderful. Maybe a couple other things to do here. Well, no, that's good. Okay. So let's exit out of that. You know, it's bringing the focus back up to that first invoice. I noticed that the book solution does some kind of clearing out of that first invoice. I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that, so I'm not going to do that. Okay. Did I accomplish what I wanted to accomplish in that section? So let me just go back and have a look. So we have got the calculate. Okay, good deal. Use the technique I learned in chapter 3 to start the event handler for the click event for the clear button. And then add that code again. Now the clear button. So what do we want the clear button to do? Let's just look at our design. I imagine what we want the clear button to do is to wipe out this side of the fence. That's what I imagine we want the clear button to do. So let's just go ahead and double click, and that's going to create now a nice button click event. All right. And so in this case, oh no, sorry, I had a peek at the solution, and it's actually wiping out the whole thing. So it's wiping out the whole thing. This is where you need to talk to your business analyst and find out what actually are the requirements for this. But anyway, clearing out the whole thing. So if we're going to clear out the whole thing, I would think the easiest thing to do at this point would be to go up to these dudes first of all. We're going to clear out the whole thing. So let's just go copy. And the first thing I'm going to do when I clear out the whole thing is I'm going to go paste. I'm not going to define these things. I don't have to, because they are class. They are defined outside of the whole mess here. They're outside. So let's go ahead and run it. And let's go 100, whatever, 1,000. I'm going to go clear, and this thing should clear off. And it did. All right. There may be a break coming, but let's just see if I can figure out what's going on before I do that. So there's that. Oh, again, remember, you have the text box objects, and then you have the variables. Here I wiped out the variables, but that never made it back to the text box object. So I would need to have this code kind of repeated, so that now the text box objects will also now be wiped out, right? So I'm wiping out the variables, wiping out the text box objects. I'm going to go start, and let's go 1,000, twice, clear, and now they're basically wiped out. All right, so there's that. That's awesome. I guess that would have been enough. I guess what they wanted, I totally misinterpreted that. What they wanted with the clear is to clear the totals, so that now in theory I could just calculate a couple more times, clear, calculate a few times, clear. That's what they wanted. They actually went further and decided that they should be empty strings. I chose not to do that. So there's that. All right. So I'm actually pretty happy with that. So that was basically the end of number 2. Sorry, 5, 6. Now I've just tested it, and that's 7. All right. I think, again, this is a good time to end. And then I may pick up with 8, 9, and 10, or we might just go right to the next chapter. All right. Some good lessons learned here, though, for sure. So let me just exit that, and then we'll see you in the next lecture here.